Hi, this is Dave and welcome to the Table Express, where we take a quick look at today's board and card games from a family perspective. Today's game, Iron Horses from Rampage Games. Now this is a 2 to 3 player micro game set in the 19th century where you represent a railway company racing to transport $1 million worth of resources. Now there's going to be a lot of setbacks that are going to be out there to try and slow you down, but you know what? If you keep your train moving and deliver those goods, you will be the one who wins. Let's take a look at this game, how it's played, and I'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, to get started with Iron Horses, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to separate out the 4 railway companies from the main deck, and they will be noted as saying railways on the back of the cards. On the front we'll have the company name. For example, here this is the Northeast Line, and each of the companies also has a one-time ability that they can use during the game. For example, here to prevent one hijacker. Next, we're going to shuffle up this main deck of cards. Now in that main deck is going to be a number of different types of cards. The first one is going to be your resource cards, and these are the various resources that you're going to want to transport in order to win the game. Next type of card that's going to be in there is called a setback card, and they're going to have red borders on them. For example, here this is a broken coupling. Now there's 2 ways you can deal with this. You can either play a remedy card, which I'm going to get to in a second, or to repair this you're going to have to discard $100,000 in resources that you're already transporting. Now you can use these remedy cards here. For example, this refuel, this is going to be able to remedy something where you are out of coal if somebody played that on you. Now there are some cards that will come out called master cards. For example, here this is an engineer, and once he comes into play in front of you, he has an ability that stays in place for the whole game. For example, here it will negate broken couplings, so it's going to essentially tell your opponents, hey, don't play those on me because I ignore them. Now there are a couple of other cards that are in the deck that also change up the pace of the game. For example, here there's a tariff, and this is going to limit the amount of resources that you can use to $100,000. And in order to get rid of it, you're going to have to pay $100,000. So this is going to slow down an opponent. Now the other thing that we have here is this hijacker card, and this is going to allow you to steal one resource from another player. So this could be a very devastating card to have played on you. Now, let me show you how this game is played. Okay, each player has selected the railway company that they're going to be playing for the game and have been dealt a starting hand of 5 cards, which we have right here. Now, on a player's turn, they are going to be able to take 3 actions, and with those 3 actions there are 4 choices to make, and they can choose the same action more than once. Now, this is going to be player number 1 here, and on their turn, one of the options that they can do is they can choose to draw a card. If they choose to draw a card, they will draw one from the pile, put it in their hand. Now, there is an 8-card limit for your hand size, and if you choose to draw a card that puts you over 8, you'll have to discard one of them to bring your hand size back down. Now, the next action that you can choose to do is you can choose to transport, and what you do is you take one of your resources that you have in your hand and you put it into play here in your play area. Now, this is going to contribute towards the $1 million goal of resources that you're transporting, regardless of the other resources that you may have in your hand, which I have $100,000 worth of iron and $25,000 worth of mail. The only thing that counts is this $50,000 right here. These do not count because they're not considered to be in play. The next action that you can choose to do is you can play a setback card on somebody, and that's the sabotage action. So what I can do here is I can take this scheduled stop card here and play it in front of another player, which I will do right here. Now, this player over here that has had that setback card placed in front of them will have to resolve that before they can take a transport action. Now, if somebody, for example, had placed a setback card in front of us, for example here, if we had this broken coupling in front of us played, we can choose to do the remedy action. Now, in order to remedy a broken coupling, we have a few different things that we can do. We can play a remedy card here, which would be the repair card to fix it and get back on our way. Or we can discard $100,000 worth of resources, and those can come from either in our hand or resources that we already have in play. One other thing that we can do with dealing with some of these setbacks is each of the rail companies has a special ability that they can use one time during the game. For example, here we can prevent one broken coupling. If I didn't have a repair remedy card in my hand and I didn't want to discard any of my actions, what I would be able to do is rotate this 90 degrees to show that I have used that action, and I would be able to discard this. Those are the 4 action types that you can take during the game. Now there are a couple of cards that can come up that will be able to help you negate some of these setback cards, and those are the master cards that I went over in the overview of the game. Now this play is going to continue until one person has $1 million worth of resources that they are transporting, and they will be the winner of the game, and that is Iron Horses. Okay, let's talk about Iron Horses here, and first thing, let me start off with the artwork because I think the artwork is amazing. The antique style of the cards really just lends to this overall feel for 19th century railroad, and so there's really cool pictures that are like in the background for the railway companies and the resource cards that as you hold them in your hand you're kind of having this little look back into history, so that's really cool. And also the font selection and the font size is perfect. It's easy to read, and it also lends to the overall feel for the game. Now the gameplay mechanic is primarily going to be hand management because during this game you're going to have the right balance of what types of cards that you have in your hand to be able to play resources in front of you, as well as managing your setbacks and remedy cards so that you can try to slow your opponents down and also be able to keep your train moving without having setbacks of your own. So that's going to be key for this game. Now, looking at the strategy of this game, one thing you need to do along with that balance is make sure that you don't spend too much time trying to do one thing. If you spend too much time trying to get all of your resources out, other players are just going to keep bombarding you with all these different setbacks, and you're going to have to resolve them, and so you're going to have to spend a lot of your actions trying to get cards to be able to remedy all of those setbacks before you can transport more things. So you don't want to go that route. You also don't want to spend all of your time playing all of your cards trying to play setbacks on your opponents, because you're going to fall behind in your own race to get the resources transported. So you're going to have to find that balance. Now, looking at this game from a family perspective, the way that I look at this game is it is a fast playing game that can be used as something that can be played after dinner or in the evening really quick. Could be mom and dad and one of the kids or just a few of the kids get together to be able to play this game, just something really quick to occupy some time. The game plays in about 20 minutes, so this is really cool. Like once you get cleaned up after dinner, sit around the table, you know, maybe before your favorite TV program comes on, or maybe you're just going to kind of do that to kind of get everybody in the mood while other things are getting done to play something that is a bigger game that involves more players. So this is just something, a really quick, fun filler game that you know, can lend for some good family fun. All right, this game here, I enjoy Iron Horses. This is something that I'll play not all the time, but it's something that I will use as a filler to kind of get something started for the evening, especially if I'm going to play another train type game. For example, like Ticket to Ride, there's a great way to start this off, especially if I'm going to play, this plays 2 to 3 players, so use this to kick off before playing Nordic countries. So just kind of lend into a nice train theme for the evening. So this is something that, it's not something that's going to be at the table a lot for me, but it's something that I do use as something to kind of kick off an evening of playing games. Alright, and if you are interested in getting your own copy of Iron Horses, I'll have the ordering information in the video description below. Alright, that's it for now, and join me again next time as we take a look at another game and we see how it makes it to the table.